This episode is brought to you by the best store in the universe. Thousands of shirts, but not really. Shop now and support the show at MaddoxRules.com. Welcome to the best debate in the universe. Every debate in the universe, from winning hearts to wet farts. With over 4 million downloads, I'm your host, Maddox. With me is the Rear Admiral of Tangents, Ron Babcock.
Hey, that's me.
And as always, the journalist in moderation, Taylor Nikolai.
I have a very high voice.
Welcome back to the show. Guys, amazing show, amazing debate. We've got a great guest today. We're going to be debating, when is it okay to fart in a relationship? And there's a reason we chose this debate in particular, because our guest this week, he's a former security guard, hailing all the way from South Central Florida. Please welcome to the show, Paul Flart. Paul, welcome to the show.
What's going on, guys? What's going on? Thank you.
Yeah, buddy. Very cool. Now, Paul, I should mention that you are blowing up everywhere on the internet, right?
Everywhere. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. If you search Google, I'm still trending, I think, on Google.
Yeah, I think you've reached international news. I think I saw the article about you on the BBC.
Yeah, Finland. I've gotten people from Finland, Holland, Sweden even, who are just like, you are all over our news over here. It's ridiculous, you know?
Yeah, so Ron, right before the show started, said that was the fart heard all around the world. Yeah. Very, very accurate. Now, Paul, for those who aren't familiar with you and why you became famous, you, for the last, 6 months, started posting pictures and videos of yourself on your Instagram account, which everyone should check out, Paul Flart. It's at Paul Flart on Instagram, PaulFlart. And your Instagram account blew up because you're just posting a fart every day, right?
Yeah, so essentially it's just, a fart every day. We try to do every day. Sometimes you can't fart. I can't fart on command. That would be great if I could. But I can't. So,
hey,
whenever I did have one that was, that seemed good, I'd record it. If it made the cut, went up on the Instagram. If not, we tried again.
So, wait, but when you got, would it be the kind of thing where oh shit, I feel one coming on, and you scramble your phone and get it out and get ready?
You gotta think, I was working the front desk of the hospital, so I'm first point of contact right there. So I don't have to go anywhere or do anything. So I have my phone's out or around me somewhere. So it's just here's one coming. Nobody's around. I can see all the way down the hallways around me, and I just boom, pull it up, let it rip, see what happens.
Do you plan on releasing a CD of all your farts and calling it just Flarting Around?
Flarting Around. I need to. Now that I'm going to steal that from you, if that's all right.
I mean, it's a gift, Paul. It's a gift.
So, Paul, you were let go from your job. This is the price.
Tell us that conversation that happened.
Yeah. Well, he actually live streamed it. This is incredible footage. You live streamed yourself getting fired from your job, and you knew it was coming because he steps out of his car and he's like, "So we're pretty much done here, right?" And your boss had zero chill because he was like, "Yeah, stop recording me right now. Stop recording me." And you said, what did you tell him?
I don't remember exactly. It's been so much now, but it's basically just we're done, right? You're firing me. This is over with. You can't, you're not going to tell me to stop recording. So, we just went through with the whole process, and he was not happy about that whole thing at all.
You're just hey, in my defense, I just want to say one thing.
If I wish I went out drinking, I went out to Orlando, was drinking, and had a bunch of ramen and all that kind of stuff, and I was hoping that it would facilitate some kind of production in the factory, but nothing came through. So
now Paul,
but I think the adrenaline was pretty high, so I don't know if that might have had a clenching effect.
Yeah, the adrenaline can act sometimes as a bottleneck on your fart nerves, I believe.
We'll run with that.
Now, Paul, I do have some of your greatest hits here. Your greatest.
For sure.
If you guys want to hear some of these,
I want to hear one of them. Yeah.
Well, here's a compilation I made right before we recorded. Listen to this.
Jesus.
Oh my God. It's going right inside of my ears.
Right? You can feel it in the back of your throat, I feel.
Dude, do you think someone's going to take those farts and remix them into a hip-hop album?
I would hope so, yeah.
I feel like it's there was a certain melodic tone about all of them.
Yeah.
That I think could lend itself.
Now, Paul, Taylor, before the show started, had a fantastic idea for you, a fantastic business idea. Taylor, you want to take that? You want to talk about that?
I was trying to think, how do you monetize that as an influencer? We're calling him an influencer. I'd say you should team up with a whoopee cushion manufacturer and put your face on it and start selling those as soon as possible.
Yeah, I got. If I can figure that out for sure. That's already been brought up in our in my group chat. Me and my
In
buddies
your
just
team
came up with the
meetings?
whole thing about Paul Flart.
Who's part of your team?
Shout out to Howie Mandel. That's my group chat.
Who's
We call it.
just a buddy of
Just
yours?
just a bunch of friends from not a bunch, it's like 4 or 5 guys from back home, and one guy who's down here living
I feel like
sort of close.
I feel like there's a life story that we have to tell here. Like, there's a scene of you in high school where you fart in the middle of class and you get kicked out. And as you're walking out, you turn back and you're like, hey, I want to be somebody one day. Just you wait and see. And they're like, you'll never be anything. And you're like, we'll see about that.
Fast forward to this podcast.
And here we are.
I did have a genuine question. How was your Instagram discovered?
So that's something Barstool Sports was the one who featured me on their page. How they exactly found my page, I have no idea. If I could figure that out, that'd be great. But I had Sunday night, 8 p.m. I had 500 followers, and they featured me. And by 11:30, I had 5,000 followers.
And how have people in real life responded to this virality?
I mean, everybody thinks it's pretty great, honestly. My mother was kind of upset at first when it started going crazy, which, is to be
Mom,
expected.
you just don't understand.
Yeah.
Mom, you don't
what
get my
about your
art.
job? What are you going to do?
My farts put food on this table.
But yeah, dude, I don't know. Everybody seems to love it. They think it's great. Something, great happening to me, and they all think that it'll work out somehow.
Paul, where did you originally tell us about the moment you originally had the idea and you signed up for the Instagram account?
So again, back to the lobby of the front lobby of the hospital, it's all tile, all open, perfect acoustics. And, everybody, I had to let one rip, and it was later in the evening. So I was just like, let's go. And I just, pushed it out, and the sound, the acoustics were just ridiculous. It was great. I was blown away by the first one that was never recorded, never out there.
Paul,
so then
the world was blown away.
At this point, for sure. So the next time I had a fart, I recorded it, sent it to the group chat, and they all loved it. They thought it was great, fantastic. And that happened a couple times before we started talking about, the world needs to see this. We need to put this out there publicly for everybody to see. And we brainstormed, came up with the idea of Paul Flart. Keep it the same, the format all the same, just, stare into the camera, let it rip, and just go from there. So, Paul Flart was born sometime in March, middle of March, end of March, and he's just been doing it ever since.
No, it's like, I don't know the legality of firing someone because they've been uploading videos of themselves farting on their job, but
is that why you were farted?
Yeah, why were you fired? Like, what was the reason?
I mean, it wasn't, everybody says the same thing. That's one of the most common comments across the board is like, how do you get fired for farting? Everybody farts. But it wasn't so much the fact that I was farting at work. It's that, I'm using my cell phone at work, and we're not supposed to be using our phones.
Oh,
so,
right.
Here's documented proof. You can't deny the fact that I wasn't on my phone,
Well,
so
I mean, but was it your phone? Do they have? You could have uploaded
somebody else come in and just film that real quick and walk out.
You could have had a burner phone.
Yeah.
So, Paul,
I
now,
got burned, that's for sure.
it may seem like this is like, you're getting interviewed everywhere all the time. I'm sure they're all asking you the same questions, and many of which I'm sure we've just asked. But I got to say that this goes near and dear to my heart as a content creator, because I've always been a big fan of farts. I wrote a chapter about it in my first book called The Alphabet of Manliness. It was G is for gas. And I talked about how a fart joke, the reason people love farts is because it transcends every language barrier. It's a joke that everybody understands. The punchline and the setup are the same thing.
It is a very efficient, economical, democratic form of humor.
Yeah, just cut the middleman. Go right to
Hurts
the joke.
nobody. Victimless fun.
Well, I'm sure you're familiar with the Dutch oven.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's when you create the victim, though.
Yeah.
You want to add a victim to that scenario, you got it right there.
I was just so this leads us to the debates that we may have 2 debates today, depending on how long the first one goes. The first debate is, when is it okay to fart in a relationship? This is a big topic. I think a lot of people are wondering, and I do have some anecdotes. I know some people who've this has ruined their relationship, the farting. And then the other part of the debate is how to best conceal a fart? Now, this is something that a lot of people have different theories on, and girls and guys do it differently. I was talking to somebody just the other day, and I found out that girls and guys conceal their farts differently. And I guess the more philosophical question is, should you conceal farts at all? That goes to the heart. And Paul, when we first started
it's
talking,
gonna be one of those episodes where we go deep.
yeah, this is gonna be. This is gonna be.
Damn it.
This is going to be one of those real head scratchers. We're going to have like fierce voicemails and debates, people writing in. And also, I should mention that our own Taylor Nikolai at the end of the show has an announcement to make. That's coming up. Also, quick news headlines with our journalist in moderation, Taylor Nikolai. I've got some voicemail after the debate, and we have a recap of last week's vote. But before we get to the debate this week, I want to hear everyone's buzzer. Here's what mine sounds like. Paul. There it is. And Ron. If you hear a buzzer from anyone during this debate, that means someone is disagreeing with someone else. We're just chiming in with an interjection, or we want to point out a logical fallacy or correction, which there will likely be many of during this farting debate. But, Paul, as our guest this week, I'm going to give you first stab at the debate. When is it okay to fart in a relationship?
I mean, right off the grip, I would say. If, you got to take it right from the get-go. If they're not cool with it, then why have a relationship? Why go through with it? Especially, hey. Especially, for someone like me who, is not ashamed of it and lets it go.
Now, I got to ask you, Paul, I don't want to, assume anything about your sexual orientation, but I'm about to. Did a lot of girls did a lot of girls reach out to you? Have you been getting some interest from
people, Instagram is blowing up with the ladies. Like, I love you. I love everything about you. I don't know why it's so sexy, but it's sexy. And, it's just like, what?
You know what?
They're farts. Like,
you know what? It's because you have a confident asshole. That's the thing.
Confident and productive asshole.
Yeah, you've done more with your anus than I think most people. And I'm not gonna say all people because some people have done a lot with their anuses. But you're up there.
When it comes to influencers, he probably has one of the biggest anus followings in the world.
Easily in the top. I mean, I can only think of a handful of other anuses that.
Oh, this is great.
Okay, so Paul, clearly this is working for you. Chicks are into it. You're getting hit up left and right. Are there like a lot of hotties?
Yeah, I mean, every single one of them so far, that I can tell. I don't follow any of them back. I just, I message them back and talk to them, but, they haven't sent me any pictures yet, but,
What are they messaging you?
Just that they think it's sexy. They're like, I don't know why, but this is sexy. It's just like, what's up? How you doing? All that kind of stuff.
Because farting communicates two things. Well, three. First is a joke, okay? And the second one is confidence, all right? If you're not concealing it, which we'll get to in a little bit. And the third is a smell. So it's a very efficient way to communicate. And what you're communicating to these women is, A, you have a sense of humor, and B, confidence.
I mean, but his point is that you should be able to fart right out of the gate because that indicates whether or not this relationship is going to have legs. Like if your partner is going to have a big problem with it, well, why even go down this road? So I think he has kind of a good point.
All right, two things. And so now I'll tell you why I think that that's maybe a mistake right out the gates, because I have a different test. I used to tell people, are you guys familiar with the website Lemon Party?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, vaguely.
Paul, I like how quick you were to answer that. Lemon Party is an old website where it's three. I don't recommend looking it up. Taylor's looking it up right now.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Okay. It's three old dudes blowing each other. And the first time...
I'm listening.
The first time I ever saw this picture, someone sent it to me, and the file name was called 9/11 Memorial Tribute.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And so that was one of the funniest things I'd ever seen. I laughed and laughed. It was so inappropriate. But I couldn't stop laughing, and I saved it. And then from that day on, I would show it to people. If I met a girl in a bar, I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to see if this is going to work out right away. And I would say something like, hey, I think my grandpa might be gay. I have a picture of him. Can I get your opinion? And I'll show her this picture of Lemon Party. And if they laugh, they get it. If they walk away, I just saved myself months of dating.
That's terrifying of you.
Wouldn't you be agreeing with what Paul said?
I would be. However, farts are a little bit different. Now farts, okay?
Showing three guys sucking each other's dicks is all right, but you can't fart. Can't fart.
Yeah, farts are a little out of line.
Yeah. You got to calm down, guys. Calm down. No, you don't want to go and get ahead of yourself. Because here's the thing, Paul. All right, I assume this is all just very new to you. You probably haven't gone out on any dates with any of these internet hotties, right?
No, there hasn't been time.
It hasn't been time. Holy shit!
No time.
This guy's working his moneymaker. But if you're at dinner on a date, okay, first date, and you let one rip, all right, I'm gonna laugh. I'll fucking date you. But is the chick is she gonna laugh, or is she gonna be turned off? And she gonna think that this is gross. I'm trying to eat. Now I'm just smelling. And let's talk about what a fart is. It is a preview of your shit, right? A fart is basically poop particles that there is something that you have changed about the air and atmosphere around you that makes it possible for you to smell that fart.
It is a crap trailer.
It is a crap trailer, correct, Ron? Very well
Like
put.
most trailers.
Yeah.
Kind of crappy.
I mean, it really comes down to, do you think that your fart is going to smell or not? Because it's funny if it doesn't smell. I think if it smells, then it goes into an offensive territory.
Well, I'll tell you an offensive fart, okay? It's one that just smells and you can't hear it. Those are the so-called silent but deadly farts, right? We would all agree on that. Paul, what do you think of silent but deadlies?
Yeah, I mean they're weak, man. You know, they're ashamed farts. You know, they're not really out there to get it.
Yeah, it's like you're farting, but you're not committing, right?
Yeah.
You're not committing to the fart. Now, here's why farting too early in a relationship, or sometimes at all, sometimes you can never fart in a relationship because it could ruin the relationship.
If your relationship is going to be ruined by a fart, I'm sorry, but it wasn't going to last anyway. If your relationship is that fragile, come on.
I agree.
Who dinged? Was that you, Paul?
Yeah, I ding.
Yeah, well, I'm going
Is that a bad thing?
veto that ding. There you go.
Uh-oh.
And I'll tell you why. Because I have a friend who dated a guy, and this guy was supposed to be her soulmate. They dated for like 4 or 5 years, and this girl was very gassy, very gassy. Probably
She was a gassy lassie.
She was a gassy lassie, correct, Ron? Probably gassier than yours truly, which is saying something, because I'm a pretty gassy dude. And Paul, we'll get to what makes us each gassy in just a minute. I
Yeah,
have
Paul,
a couple.
Maddox is part Armenian, so he's actually 60% farts. I'm
all Armenian, buddy. That's right. I'm all farts. You can smell me before you see me, and that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing. You know, you want to announce your presence, right? Or
leave a lingering presence.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you want to leave some Resident Evil behind. So here's the thing, okay? This guy was in love with this girl, and they were soulmates. Everything was great, but she's very gassy, and she thinks her farts are hilarious. And by the way, most of them are. They're really funny, unless you squeeze too hard, because then it's like, you know, the tail end of a fart when you're really pushing one out and you're belting it, and then you feel you can hear it. You can definitely feel it, but you can hear it when it comes near the end, and it gets a little too wet at the end. You know, and you know what that means, Paul, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like, you got to do a safety wipe, right? Well, so some of her farts were kind of like that, and it grossed the guy out to the point where he was turned off and couldn't have sex with her anymore. And that was something that kind of led to the end of their relationship.
Well, I mean, did she try and, like, would she do it on purpose? You know how, like, you do that in a relationship when you find out your partner, like, doesn't like something, and you do it on purpose because it, like, you know, gets a huge reaction out of them?
Well, at first, yes. At first, she was doing it because she thought, wow, this is ridiculous. The guy is seriously this worried about my farts. Who cares? And then he was telling her that, yo, this is serious. I'm really turned off right now, and I don't think I can ever have sex with you again. Now, look, I think it's ridiculous. I think that's irrational. I think that's over the line, all right? If a girl farts around me, Paul, it's the same thing except in reverse. Like, I'm getting a boner because it communicates confidence.
Yeah,
a chick who can fart around you communicates confidence. Don't you think, Taylor?
Sure.
Taylor, have you ever farted around a girl?
Yes, of course I have.
Have you? Why of course? Why would that be an of course
Well,
thing?
I mean, like, I think that if you're never going to fart around your significant other or someone you're in a relationship with, like, you have some serious issues. You have some serious confidence issues in the relationship. I think if you're constantly hiding your farts, it means you have no faith in the relationship.
All right, I'll ding you too on that.
And I think actually, I'll go out and say that I think farting in a way can make your relationship stronger. My case in point, when I started dating my girlfriend, I would visit her at this guest house that she was staying in. It's a very small guest house, and the guest house had a bathroom, but it was so small that there was no door. It was just a curtain. There was just a small, kind of like the curtain that separates first class from coach on an airplane. That was the curtain that separated the bathroom. That was very early on into us dating, and it was a little weird at first, but it forced us to become like fucking strong immediately and get over all this stuff. Because it's like, yeah, it's this fucking natural thing that we've decided as a society can like be deemed gross. When you realize it's like we all do it every single day. Yeah, it's a little weird sometimes, but whatever, like deal with it. And now I like to think that we have a very strong relationship. It's not because of it, but I think it helped, we didn't let it like ruin us.
Okay, so Ron, is this a common occurrence for you and your girlfriend? Do you guys fart around each other a lot?
I mean, I am farts. So like everything makes me fart. So yeah, I have what we call in my family the pascoric plumbing. I'm basically just made of old pierogies and intestines, and I am constantly farting. A lot of it's done mostly in my car. Sometimes I've warned people at work, like if my office door is closed, like, yeah, I've probably just been farting. Yeah. So just a heads up on that. Like, it's just one of those things. Like, I don't know what gives me farts because I'm assuming it's just everything.
Yeah, well, okay, that's a good point. Everything does give Ron farts, but I have an anecdote to share that's going to lead me to the next question. So here are the two foods that really give me gas. The first is cherries. I don't know why, but like fresh cherries really gives me gas. It's an interesting one. And then the second one is milk.
Lactose makes sense.
Lactose, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I fart like crazy, and it's hilarious, and everyone loves it. But I remember one time I was with friends, and I think it was just a rough night. I had a bunch of milk and pepperoncinis. The spicy pepper. Pepperoncinis, and I just ate a shit ton. And what that does is the vinegar from the pepperoncini plus the spice makes the milk curdle in your stomach. Oh my god! So yeah, it was a rough time. And this is when I still lived at my parents' house, and I remember my mom would blast the TV in the living room, and it was so loud I just had to like shut my door and shut my windows because it was so loud. It was echoing all around the neighborhood how fucking loud she fucking watched, and it was nothing. It was like Price is Right reruns. Anyway, so I shut the windows and basically created a hot box. And I'm sitting in my room, and I was farting like crazy.
You Dutch ovened yourself.
Oh, it's worse than a Dutch oven, buddy. This was like the entire room was sealed off, like a hermetic seal. And I kept farting and farting and farting, and I woke up with a sore throat. And
oh my god, that is so gross.
It is so gross. And then I left the room, and you know how sometimes if you're sitting in a smelly room, or even like a room that smells good, like with cooking and food, you get acclimated to it, and then you step outside and you step back in, and you're like, oh wow, that smells good. This was like that, except it smelled really bad. I walked back into my room and I coughed. It was so strong. So then that leads me to the next question is, okay, the debate is, when is it okay to fart in a relationship? Is this one of those situations where if you are in a room together or in bed together, is that okay too? Paul, what do you think?
I mean, I would go with it. I would say, most definitely. I mean, obviously don't throw the covers up and Dutch oven your significant other and like that, but
what's Dutch oven?
Gotta let it rip.
A Dutch oven?
A Dutch oven.
I'll show you later.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's when you put the cover, you would be with your lady, and you would throw the blankets over both of you or just her, and then you would fart, so you would trap the fart inside of a bubble that they then had to breathe.
All right, great.
Yeah. and it's similar to a buttercup. Have you ever had a buttercup, Taylor?
What is a buttercup?
I'll show you later. So buttercup is when you palm your hands right behind
okay, stop. Just stop. We're done.
But I didn't get to the best part.
Oh, man.
So anyway, so you haven't had a buttercup. What's the one with the jar? What's that one called?
What?
A jar?
Paul, it's basically like a buttercup with a jar.
Nah, I've never seen it. Never heard of it.
Okay, so the buttercup is where when you fart into the cup of your hands and you shove it in someone's face, right? You give them a buttercup. And the one with a jar is similar, except you seal it and you can mail it to people.
Oh, so it's like preserving. It's like canning.
It's like canning. You're canning the farts.
Oh, we should call
You gotta
it
get in the bathtub with the jar and then fart underwater and catch the bubbles. So you got like pure.
Distilled
pure
farts.
Yeah, those are hilarious. Paul, that's a fantastic. Now, farting in pools, is that okay?
Yeah,
I mean,
anything
people
water-based
piss in
is
pools, so
fart.
why not?
Okay, here is an argument for why it's not. Okay, you should, if you believe that you should be able to fart around your significant other at any time in a relationship, you want the first fart to be pure, don't you? You want the first bite of your food to be unsalted. You don't want to add anything to it. You want to see how it tastes normally. So same thing with a fart. The first fart should be pure. You should just do it, let it rip around your partner, but it shouldn't be underwater because that's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be bubbly.
So one of the things that I don't understand is everyone in the world except me seems to have some superpower where they're able to control when they fart or keep farts in. It's like if I feel it coming, it just happens. This idea that some people can actually go on dates and it's like I held in a fart for 8 hours. It's like, did you really? Is that a real thing?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
I mean, I've held in farts to the point of it being painful.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, this is probably causing my body damage because I feel like it's going to go somewhere. And if it doesn't come out that way, it's going to go somewhere inside my body and then just live there.
I agree with that. I feel like if the fart doesn't come out of your butthole, it's going to come out somewhere, and it's probably going to be a burp. And speaking of, we got a super chat in the chat room for $2 from Tito. He says, burps are mouth farts. What do you think of that? Do you think burps are mouth farts? Paul, what do you think?
I get grossed out more by burps, personally.
You get
Burps
grossed out by
more
burps?
grossed out, really?
Yeah, I don't know. There's something, maybe because it's like you're at, like when somebody burps, you're at like eye level with them. And so it's just like a fart, it's on the opposite side of their body. It's headed in the other direction away from you. It's gross, but it's kind of funny. But burps, for some reason, just gross me the fuck out. Especially when it's like you're eating. I don't know why. I just always get grossed out more by them.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting because I would think the opposite. Now, sometimes I'm on a date, right, and I'm walking next to this.
By the way, you are making yourself look so good on dates right now. The way you're like this burping, farting mess.
Found the real meaning of this episode, right?
Well, look at fucking Paul's killing it with his ass. Mm-hmm. I think if anything stands as a testament to the success of farts, especially in the realm of dating, Paul is that man.
Well, one time I parked my car and I just let out a huge fart in the car, and then I immediately I don't know why I did it in the car. I think I just I let one rip, and I closed the door and was like, I'll deal with that later. And then I went to this party. It was afterwards. I met a girl there, and we went back to my car, and she's like, hey, do you want to go to your car and like make out? And I was like, fuck yeah, I want to go to my car and make out. Like, this is awesome. And so we open the door of the car, and everything had just... It smelled like it had been multiplying.
Yeah.
And she walked in, she's like, why does your car smell so weird? And I was like, oh, I think I ate a banana earlier and I left the peel here. And and then she just went, okay. And then we just made out.
Oh,
you
guys still made out in your fucking fart box?
Still had it, positive ending.
We just rolled down the windows and it was fine. It was cleared out in like 10, 15 seconds. But because my thought was like, there's no way this fart is still going to be here 4 hours later.
Oh, yeah.
And it was still there.
Yeah. Resident Evil, they linger sometimes.
It was just, and it got more powerful.
Paul, have you ever been on a date that actually, where you farted, that it may have actually ruined the date, or you could tell visibly the girl was upset?
No, it's never happened to me. In my many years of dating.
Yeah, many years of farting is the.
Farts take precedent, brother. We gotta break that taboo of farts not being, allowed.
Yeah, so that's something we actually talked about. So when Paul and I first started talking, I said that I think that Paul, if he plays this right, could position himself at the forefront of a civil rights type of movement, because we're all about body positivity and we shouldn't fat shame.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
You're perfect just the way you are.
Right. I think Paul could be the voice and the leader of the anti-fart shaming movement. All right, because we talk about fat shaming a lot, but what about fart shaming? It's something that people are shamed for a lot, are they not, Paul?
They are. Everybody is. I mean, look at me.
You lost your job.
Yeah, and also
Lost my job.
And if you do body positive things like eat roughage and veggies and kale salads and
You're producing more.
fucking snow peas, this is the stuff that makes you fart the most. If you are living a vegetarian vegan lifestyle diet and you're helping the environment or whatever, like, you are farting more than the average person and being shamed for it.
Fucking amen, Ron, because you know what? Cows smell like shit.
And all they do is eat fucking veg all the time.
They're vegetarians. I got in an argument a long time ago with vegetarians because I was talking about how vegetarians think their shit doesn't smell, and I got so much. It was just kind of like a off the cuff, tongue in cheek remark. I said, the expression, "Oh, you think your shit doesn't smell?" Well, a lot of vegetarians and vegans took it literally, and they started sending me email. They said, "Yeah, my shit never smells." So quite literally bragging about, but vegetables rot and ferment just like anything else, guys. In fact, a lot of times worse. I'll tell you what, Paul, I'm sure maybe you can relate, but sometimes my only meal for the day is beef jerky.
Jesus Christ.
And let me tell you, my farts smell great after those, right? Paul, can you attest to that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't 75 videos when I went crazy, right? And I can attest, nobody was there to really prove the fact, but not a single one of them was super stinky. You might got a little whiff of this, a little whiff of that, but nothing that was there sticking, lingering just around.
Plus, the thing is, you're at a hospital, man. These are people, I'm sure they bring in bodies who are on their way out. They're not going to smell the best.
Nope.
And speaking of, we got a $5 super chat from Pavich Babin. He says, "I once farted on accident at a funeral by the casket and just played it off like it was the body."
It lives. Dude, I've been running lately, and for some reason, whenever I start running, it just jostles everything up. Yeah. And I also had my headphones in, listening to music, trying to stay motivated, get this fucking run done. And I was running, and I do these weird running farts where I will start just continuously fart for a good 20, 30 feet. And I was doing it, and then as I was doing it, I looked to the left, and I saw there's a bunch of high school girls seated on the stoop of a church, and all they did was just see this guy in headphones run by them, continuously farting the entire way. And I was like, "Oh well, just keep going."
I was in a GameStop one time a while ago, and I was walking around, and it was one of those things, Ron, where when you jog and you fart, you can feel as your legs go forward, back and forth, when the cheeks are parallel to each other, that's when the fart happens. And then when they're spread, the fart doesn't come out as much, or you can't hear it at least. And so I was walking around this GameStop as quickly as I could because I really had to fart, and I was waiting for my friend to make a purchase. And I couldn't hold it in any longer, and I was at the front, and I just let it rip. And the cashier behind the counters turned to me, and he says, "Did you just fart?" And my friend says, "Oh no, run!" And we just booked it from the store. Okay, so that leads me to the second debate question, which is, what is the best way to conceal a fart? Paul, what do you think that is?
I honestly have no idea because I do my best to not conceal my farts.
Well, okay, but if you had to...
But if you guys have tips
That's
for when
like
I
asking-
have to, if that happens.
It's like asking Superman, what's the best way to not be Superman? He's just Superman.
What's the best way to get shot?
Oh, yeah, well, the Superman question is you put on glasses. Apparently, that's the best way to not be Superman anymore. You put on glasses. But, and by the way, can we just talk about that fucking bullshit-ass backstory of Superman? The S on his chest, I think, always stood for super, because that's where when the first comic books came out, they didn't have all this fucking backstory with the planet Krypton, all this other crazy bullshit, and they said, "Oh, it's not an S, it's just that's in our language, in our culture, that's just everyone has a symbol that they're born on their chest with." It's like, yeah, it's a fucking S. Stop trying to make it sound like you're clever or smart, and it's just a coincidence that you came to Earth and it happens to be S for Superman.
You're talking about Man of Steel, right?
Man of
like
Steel.
the whole backstory from Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same. Yeah.
Good. Anyway, back to farts. Paul, you have never had to conceal a fart. Let's say your wife, okay, you're not married, but if you were, and she was having a baby, okay, and you want there to be a sterile environment to bring your child into this world, would you not conceal a fart then because you don't want poop particles to land on your child's bare, wet head?
Well, I mean, isn't that the point? Do you think the poop particles are escaping your underwear and your pants? Like, it's not like we're bare ass naked having babies.
Oh, Paul.
I mean, we make babies that way, but
I mean, yeah, you do make babies bare ass naked, but
Don't you want your baby to like grow up with a good immune system, and by exposing the baby to small particulates as a child, their body will learn to adapt and be stronger rather than keeping it in a sterile environment? You're not doing that baby any favors.
yeah, but babies. Here's the thing. I think everyone can agree with this. Babies are dumb, and they're going to eventually eat and put anything they find on the ground in their mouth. And if a baby's going to be in my environment, there's a good chance that it's going to be covered in poop at some point. Like, there's going to be some poop particles just around where the baby is raised because the baby is part of me and I'm a farty individual, right? So I don't need to expose additional poop particles to the baby at the very. And by the way, Paul, if your wife had a C-section, right? Are you going to fart around a giant fucking open?
Dude, he's not standing over her, letting it rip into the scar.
We don't know what Paul's doing. Paul, is that what you're doing?
yeah, we're climbing up on the bed and just squatting down, letting one rip. Yeah.
Welcome home, honey.
Are you hotboxing,
kid?
Are you hotboxing her wound? Her giant open. I mean, where do you draw the line? Okay, all right. So I'm sure you've seen fart porn, Paul.
Yo, fart cakes, right?
Yeah, fart cakes,
farts.
Hilarious. Cake farts, yeah.
Cake farts.
It's some of the best stuff. Hey, Taylor, this is something for you. I feel like you would like cake farts a lot. Do you know what a cake fart is?
No, I don't.
Okay, so another marketing idea for Paul. We do a new website called Cake Flarts, and it's just Paul farting on a cake. Or we actually just, Paul, you start playing Fortnite, we call it Flart Night, and we change the sound of the guns so that when you press the trigger, just farts come out. Farts that you've already recorded.
Yeah.
Those are copyrighted Flart farts.
Copyrighted Flart farts.
I mean, guys, I'm in the zone. I'm in the zone here.
So keep it going, man. Let's go.
What
else you got?
We got two Taylors. We got two Taylors on this show.
My marketing brain only exists for farting related purposes.
Yeah, farting related products.
Here's what I think. I think I'm going to solve the problem right now. Is that I think it's okay to fart in front of your significant other. I don't think it's wise to do it immediately. I think you have to earn the right to fart. Because I think it can bring up a lot of questions if you do it on the first date, like within the first 10 minutes. But if you spend a little time with this person, you like them, they like you, you should be able to fart in front of one another. Because I believe that the couple that farts together stays together. And if you don't do it, I don't think your relationship is that strong. Although I think you should ease into it and earn the right to fart.
Yeah, I like the idea, like, I'm going to fart on the first date because I need to make sure she's okay with farting. It's like, well, you might as well not take a shower then and be like, I need to make sure she likes the smell of my body odor. Like, you could extend the logic to anything.
That's actually a really good argument, Taylor. Yeah, why? Yeah, so Paul, what do you say to that? Like, hey, you know what? If this chick is, if this relationship's meant to work, she should just watch me spread my cheeks and drop a deuce in the shower. This is what I do, baby. Take it or leave it. This is who I am. What do you say to that, Paul?
I mean, I don't know what I say. I still think. But you can't equate not showering and farting into the same category.
Oh, I absolutely can. If the argument is I feel like I should have the freedom to do any disgusting thing that I want, and I'm using disgusting in a pejorative manner because farts inherently smell bad, so therefore there's a bad connotation to farts. So if the argument is I can do any disgusting thing I want because I need to prove I need to make sure that this relationship has longevity, you can say that to any disgusting aspect. You can say I might as well not brush my teeth because she's gotta like my morning breath. Like the logic is not solid.
Damn, Paul,
I don't know how to react to that.
Yeah,
Taylor gets
kind of went in.
He gets fired up out of nowhere.
No, I mean, so this is one of those debates where the comedians get to have their fun, but I have nothing to say in a funny debate like this. I'm gonna stick to logic, and I'm gonna say that the guest is wrong. We should hang up on him. This podcast is over. We should get to news.
Oh boy!
And then Taylor stands up, turns around, farts into the mic, and walks out.
Yeah, that would be a fucking mic drop. So Taylor, it sounds like you just sucked all the hot air out of Paul's ass.
Yeah, I don't know how to respond, but I still don't think you can equate the BO to the fart. I mean, obviously you're going to shower. That's different. But like farting is a thing that's going to come up, and it's going to come up at random times.
So is bad breath. You're going to have bad breath in the morning.
But
someday.
the bad breath in the BO is a sustained smell throughout the day, where farts are temporary.
And that's
So they are like farts dissipate.
Well,
The BO is activate and gets worse throughout the day.
I will say this though, there are people who are living, walking, breathing farts. They just smell like farts all the time. What do you say? What do you say to that, Paul? Should a partner put up with just a general fart aura about their significant other? If they are just farty in general, if you don't even fart but you still smell like you fart, is that then crossing a line?
Yeah, I think you can't stink. I mean, stinking is different from then, letting one rip, and farting and producing a cloud of gaseous, noxious, whatever. I think you got to be clean. You got to be washed. You got to smell nice. But that occasional fart, it's just, that's a different paradigm altogether.
Okay, well, so we didn't really cover this, but here's how to conceal a fart. Okay, I got the best method. I found out girls and guys do it differently, as I teased at the beginning of the show. Girls, if they're wearing a long dress, I found out that's basically like a walking hot box. They can just keep farting and farting and farting, and unless you're under the grates, like a creep in the sewers coming up, you're not going to smell it because it just like kind of flows downward and outward. Whereas me, a guy, if I'm on a hot date, which I always am, and I'm walking next to the chick, and I got a fart. Here's my move, and it rarely works because of the wind, but I'll put my arm around the girl and just start walking really fast and trying to like get her so that we produce some wind flow, some air drag, so that the fart doesn't catch with our nostrils. And oftentimes the girl's like, "Oh, why are you trying to get me to walk faster?" I'm like, just do it, and it doesn't work. But I'll tell you what does: the freezer aisle. If you're in a grocery store, okay, and I learned this method from KFC.
Again, your hot dates sound so fun that you always end up at the freezer aisle of the supermarket. You really know how to treat a lady.
Well, I go there, I'm like picking ice cream.
Pick out your fish sticks. They're on me.
Pick pistachio. Why don't you pick pistachio? How about some Rocky Road? I got some Rocky Road for you. So I learned this technique at KFC. So at KFC, Paul, you relate to this because you were fired for farting, and I was afraid I was going to be fired for farting because I was around a lot of food. And that's a place where, that's an area where, I would say it's probably 50-50 on whether or not people say that you should be allowed to fart around food in a restaurant. Mm-hmm. Well, it happens, but for me, I was trying not to, and so I found the best way to conceal a fart was to walk into the giant walk-in freezer and shut it behind me. You let it rip, and it's because it's so cold, the fart just sinks to the floor, just like a woman's dress. What do you think of that, Paul?
I think the logic's a little flawed there. Fart sinking, hot air would rise, wouldn't it? But,
yeah, and that's why it doesn't, because it's cold, and the atmosphere lowers it.
So it brings it down, so you're getting the instant cooling factor to just drop it right to the floor.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense, yeah.
Then you get a very thin
film of
farts.
How often are you going to have a walk-in on a date to get your fart out?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Ron gives me shit for taking girls to the grocery store, but if you gotta drop it,
that's the trick. Then you go to the supermarket when you got to fart when you're on a date.
I was thinking tonight we go down to the local meat locker and hang out. Maddox.
I think it turns.
It's so cold in here, but I'm so hot.
I think it's kind of romantic. You take a girl to a meat locker. She looks around. She's like, "Wow, I've never seen so much meat." That's like hundreds of dollars of meat hanging in a meat locker. Steaks, sausages, huh? Paul, talk about.
Hey.
So we talked about what gives me gas. What's your gassy food?
Everything, brother. Yeah. Everything.
Same.
Really?
Although the pressure to perform lately has been a little rough, so I've been trying to eat a lot more digestible fibers, flax seeds, granola, broccoli, that kind of thing. I'm trying to just overload.
Super ripe broccoli.
Now, Paul, I'm sure the layperson can't relate to you because you are kind of like an athlete, like a professional athlete or somebody who types for a living. They're not going to want to type in their spare time because they don't want to strain their muscle. They want to ensure their body part. So for you, I'm sure you don't want to strain your sphincter. And you can't just like fart all the time for free now. I'm sure now this is
now
your
they're
job.
A commodity, yeah.
Yeah, it's a hot commodity.
We got to keep them. We got to keep them. Or get them all recorded, get them all out there.
Pavich Bavin for $2 super chat says, Maddox, a true fartist. Thank you, Pavich Bavin. I am a true fartist.
Have you guys ever farted for so long that you wish you timed it?
Yeah. Yes.
Because one time I think I start counting in my head, but I wish I had a more methodical way of timing it. But I sometimes will have these epically long farts. I'm talking like 15 to 20-second long, drawn out farts. And I remember doing that one time in front of my girlfriend. I'm like, are you hearing this right now? I'm like, this is still happening. Like, it was long enough where we both recognized what was happening and then could comment and talk about it.
That's so funny. I love
My
a long
favorite kind of fart.
Oh, they're fantastic. I have farted so long one time. It started in my sleep, and I woke up and heard the ending of it. And it was just the part I was conscious for was at least 15 seconds long. So I thought, wow, it must have started. And it was one of those that started low, like a rumbler, and then went really high at the end, like...
Where it just kind of gets released.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to have a dog that would be sleeping and it would fart and wake itself up all the time.
I once had a girlfriend told me after the first time we had sex, she was looking at me. I was passed out. I burped, farted, and then just like coughed, and then went back to sleep. Like I don't remember any of this, but apparently I did all these things that like right after one another.
Yeah, you should have had an Instagram account back then.
I know, could have been killing it.
Yeah. Well, Paul, we're gonna wrap up this debate. Any final words? So you wouldn't conceal a fart even if you had to. There's no situation you can think of that you would conceal a fart.
I mean, I'm sure there must be, right? But it's got to be a legit situation where, like, it's because farts. I don't think they're inappropriate. I think farts are definitely something that has to happen. You got to let it out.
What if
more
you're
room out than in?
That's true. What if you are the president of the United States and you are giving your inauguration address, and it's the part
rip.
You would let it rip? What if it's the part where your hand's on the Bible and you're swearing the oath to protect our laws of this land and the Constitution?
That's the sign off. That's it.
You would hold it till the end.
Just let it build up and then just let it go right when I'm done speaking, right?
Maybe the only time you wouldn't do it was if you were in a bank and a robber came in and was holding everybody up and was like, if you fart, I'll fucking kill somebody. And then you'd be like,
Well, yeah, all right.
maybe,
We'll hold it in there.
yeah, maybe I'll hold it for a couple minutes.
Okay, what about this?
You gotta be quick though.
Okay, so there's a time you would conceal a fart for sure. Thank you, Ron. And what about this? Okay, I'm gonna paint a picture for you. The year is 2001. All right, and it's September 11th, and suddenly your mom comes to your bed and she's like shaking, Paul, get up, Paul, get up. 2 planes just hit the World Trade Centers. And you wake up, you rustle to, and you open your eyes and you see your mom, and you feel the rumble in your belly, but she just told you 9/11 happened. Would you fart then?
Of course. I don't think you'd be able to hold it in. Your brain's going, like thinking, like, wait, what do you mean 2 planes?
At that point, you're just celebrating life.
Yeah.
Oh no, Paul.
You gotta pour one out for your homies. Like.
All right. Well, there it is. I guess. Amazing.
This one has been so stupid and fun.
This has been one of the most philosophical debates we've ever had on the show. Well, guys,
an hour. How did you do an hour on this?
That's what we do, Taylor. That's why we're professionals, and that's why people tune in to Madcast Media. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and vote on the website, madcastmedia.com. We'll have the results of this week's debate next week. But before we move on, I should talk about the debate from last week. Last week, Paul, we debated what is the best women's fashion trend. Do you have a particular fashion trend that you happen to like on the ladies?
I did like the half-shaved head thing for a little while there.
Okay. Yeah, that didn't come up. So you're into like the cyberpunk chick, huh? Like futuristic chicks?
I mean, all chicks I'm into.
Yeah.
Big, small, black, yellow. As long
Yeah, Paul with the boners. Well, we debated last week what the best women's fashion trend was. And coming in dead last was yoga pants. That was our guests, Pierre's.
Wow.
Yeah, people really didn't like yoga pants, I guess. That
or
was
maybe
surprising.
they said they didn't like, they liked them the least.
They liked them the least, yeah. Followed by any 90s style.
What?
That was wrong.
Nah, that was
That's
me.
obscure.
It's just what I know,
And then followed by Taylor's pick of sundresses. But the number one choice of female fashion trends was underbutt. That's right, that's me. I picked the underbutt. Paul,
I
come
do
on.
like a good underbutt.
Yeah, what would you take between
Underbutts. I think the underbutt is better than the underboob, honestly.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, Paul gets it. This man is a smart man. I would vote for you for president, man. And even if you did sign off
Paul
the
Flart
inauguration,
2020,
I
right?
feel like I'd want to hear other platforms that he had first before I decide to vote. I'm not saying I would. I just want to say maybe something besides the whole underbutt, underboob controversy.
no,
I'm just so curious. What are you gonna do with this newfound influence? I'm just beyond interested.
Me, my influence?
Yeah, because you're gaining followers. You have momentum. What is your plan? Do you have a plan?
The plan's to keep making content. I mean, that's number one.
So
and
you-
like we discussed earlier, the social movement of stopping the fart blockers and just letting that
Well-
letting that rip.
Like, you don't have your job anymore. Have you created content since being fired?
Yeah, we've got 2 new videos up.
Okay.
I think we got 2 videos up yesterday. I'm flying out to LA next week. I'm gonna be on TV. I'll tell you guys what?
Where are you gonna be on
guys-
TV?
I can't tell you guys right now.
Can't announce
but
it yet.
I'll let Maddox know when it happens, when I can talk about it, so you guys
Yeah.
can see
That's
that.
exciting, man.
yeah, it's super exciting. We'll plug
Actually,
the
I'll
shit
be
up.
on NBC nightly news tonight.
Hey,
Oh my
Wow.
hey,
God.
cool.
That's great.
I mean, not me particularly. They're gonna do a story on me, but that's a huge coverage. A huge that'll bring some people in. Hopefully,
have you heard from anybody that you used to work with since all
one
this went
person
down?
Yeah, one lady hit me up and she's like, hey, I just want you to know that you're still my friend and we're still cool, and if you want to hang out or still talk or whatever, we can do that. So
Aw, that was
Aw,
nice.
very
That's cool.
sweet. Yeah.
but one person out of hundreds, but hey,
Yeah. All right. Well, that's
Hey, you have set the bar pretty low for the next security guard. They're like, all you have to do is just
Yo,
not
that's the
upload
thing, though.
videos of you farting.
I am easily one of the best security guards at that hospital. I was loved by the visitors. I was loved by administration. I handled my job very well. It's just, you got downtime, and you got to fill that downtime with something.
So,
And I filled it with farts.
are you going to start creating content that's not farts?
It's possible. We're doing. I mean, Paul Flart on vacation is happening.
Okay.
We're gonna travel around to well-known locations and stuff like that, and just let them rip, and see what happens.
Is
No, I-
this a good place to fart?
I think it's actually a really creative content style to do just like a regular vlog. It's just at very interesting places you're farting.
Yeah.
But you said that you have trouble doing it on your own. Maybe
oh
that's
my
something
God!
you can
Is there
practice?
going to be like what if he like puts in like Foley farts and then that comes out and it's a huge fart gape conspiracy
Fart game.
where they're like he's been editing in farts and then you got to come out and be like I've been farting on camera this whole time and then like oh I mean this could blow up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like it's an inevitability. You're going to be on a big talk show and they're going to say, "Can you just fart for us right now?" So I don't know if there's a way you can like have foods like always in your pocket that in a half hour they'll be able to have you pull the
Well,
trigger.
that's the plan now. I mean, I definitely got to start doing some serious experimentation on like what I can eat and get.
Yeah.
in.
Overripe broccoli.
None of this is a joke. I think you
Warm
really
yogurt.
should. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul,
with you.
for your big TV appearance, if you can, save up as much as possible because they may ask you to fart on command. And by the way, I would
Or
think-
even if they don't ask you.
yeah, you should just fart. You should make it really uncomfortable.
Real quick, I just want to say this.
And then sign off.
They make sure they lob your asshole. They put a lav mic right up that pooper. Here's the thing, Paul. If you come to LA, I have a friend. His name is Nathan Barnett, and you know
Yeah, Nathan's the best.
Nathan's the best.
Is that the
Great
dancing
dude.
guy?
Nathan Barnett, and he used to do the Trail Luaus character and a few other things on Screw Attack and different things like that. Now he and I and his brother and Robert Hamburger from Real Ultimate Power were all hanging out one time. And Nathan has this game that he plays called Fart Cops. And this is something that I think you would be great for, Paul. If you come out and if this at all works out, I would love for you to come play Fart Cops with us because it is hilarious. I won't give it away. I won't give it away in case we're able to actually do this because this would be a fantastic video for you, Paul.
Nathan Barnett is the guy that does those dancing videos.
Yeah, he does
that's
his
the
dancing
one.
videos. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Oh, man.
He's a good friend of ours. He's a good dude.
Really, that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe we can introduce you if you're out here. Well, anyway, guys, we should move on to the voicemail. I got a shit ton of voicemail this week. The first one here is a drunken rambler. I just got a voicemail from someone. Usually I don't play these because they're very incoherent, but this guy seems to think he has a point. Here it is. Listen to this.
You know, I've listened to you for fucking years, and I gotta say, man, I'm a little drunk right now, and I feel like I think about you. You know, Maddox, I think you're great. You know, Maddox has no hair on his head anyway. So when you think about it, you know, people say, oh, you know, carpets match the drapes, blah, blah, blah. You know how it is. You're fucking banging chicks and stuff. As Maddox does, granted. I know, being that also he's Armenian, you know. When you say it does the carpet match the drapes, well, with Maddox's case, you know, he's nothing but carpet. He's a hairy motherfucker. So, point for me.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're saying that you're bald, I would say it's more that you're hardwood floors rather than carpet.
Yeah, I'm hardwood floors, Ron.
Yeah.
Damn right.
Does
Correct.
your dick match the hardwood?
Yeah. That's right. We also have a voicemail from someone who... So I misspoke, Paul, a few episodes ago. I meant to say katydids instead of aphids. And we got a very strong opinion on aphids. Listen to this caller.
Hey, so I was just actually pleased that Maddox was wrong about the aphids and that he was actually thinking of another bug, because I fucking hate aphids. They're the fucking worst. They eat freaking holes in the leaves on my trees, so they look like shit. I like the look of my trees. And I like my free oxygen that comes from the trees. And these fucking aphids fuck everything up. I'm about ready to just chop this fucking tree down. Fuck aphids.
Yeah, in the chat that day, we had a lot of angry aphid haters.
Yeah, people really hate aphids, I guess. So here's this guy. First of all, douchebag of the week. And I'll tell you why. Because he's complaining that aphids put holes in your leaves. Well, guess what? In between each leaf is a hole. Trees are entirely holes. That's all it is. You look up, every shady tree has a bunch of...
Yeah, but the aphids make more holes.
Oh, no. What's the right number of holes to have in a tree? Who gives a shit? They're fucking leaves. They just grow a dime a dozen. Leaves are constantly falling off fucking trees all the time. Trees get sick. They get funguses. Then they get autumn comes along. Oh, great, more fucking leaves. Gotta rake up this shit. And then spring comes along. Great, more fucking leaves. It's just nothing but leaves. It never ends with these leaves, Ron. I'm okay with more holes and leaves. Less leaves, I say. Fuck leaves. New chapter in my, my new book. We got a...
Finally, someone taking leaves down a peg.
Yeah. You're welcome. We got a voicemail calling Taylor out for his argument about extinction.
What?
Yeah, listen to this.
Yo, Maddox, first time caller, listening for fucking ever. Love everything that you guys do. I'm just calling in about the latest episode where you guys are back to debating about should animals go extinct and shit, and how you brought in that eagle that went extinct over in wherever the fuck you guys said it was, and how Taylor went on and off this fucking rant about how dodos were hunted to extinction and completely ignoring everything you fucking said about the eagle and the two things that it hunted out. Just, come on, Taylor. That's it. You guys fucking rock. Love everything that you do. Fuck whales.
Yeah, fuck
Taylor.
What was the issue?
I don't know, but yeah, Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor.
Yeah.
I'm just confused.
Let's just all agree. Yeah, Taylor.
I am here to just bring balance to everything, and I don't know what that call was actually trying to say.
So I made a very cogent point, and Paul, I'm sure you'll agree with this because you're a smart man, and all smart people agree with me. So
we're really painting everybody into a corner there.
So I made a point that lots of animals have gone extinct without human intervention, and so Taylor was like, "No, wait, I haven't ever done a Taylor voice." Well, Maddox.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Perfect.
Anyway, the point stands that that a lot of animals have gone extinct without human intervention, and even if they do go extinct partially due to human intervention or entirely due to human intervention, that's still natural because humans are natural, right? Yep. We're not fucking aliens, Ron. We're not aliens. Just like
You're so stupid.
But why spend all these resources to keep animals alive, like panda bears? Like, why are we spending all this?
Yeah,
No,
all
I
this,
personally
resource and
don't
money
get
to
the
keep
panda
this
thing.
useless, worthless animal alive.
Yeah.
Provides no function.
Why is it just because they're cool
That's
looking?
it.
Like that's the thing.
that's it. It's like, oh wow, we got cows too in Asia. We got like fucking mountain cows. That's all it is. Pandas are mountain cows. They look like hairy. They're the bear version of a cow.
Like pandas don't want to mate.
No.
They're willingly going extinct. I don't get the whole panda thing. I'd love if someone could teach me why I should really care that pandas don't go extinct, other than they look cool and they're cute,
Yeah,
But
no one has a problem with humans showing pandas panda porn, which, by the way, exists. They made panda porn to try to stimulate them and get them horny enough to just procreate enough to continue the species. And the panda's like, no, fuck it. I'm going to eat bamboo all day. Bunch of assholes. Paul gets it.
I get.
Yeah. Anyway, here's another voicemail. This is a voicemail about more fashion choices from our longtime caller, Headlight Boy. Listen to this guy.
So here's what I'm taking away from the fashion choices selected this week. All right. So the guest on the show, he likes classy women who like to go and work out and wear yoga pants. First time I ever saw a woman in a pair of yoga pants, I popped a boner on the spot. Real nice and disgusting. Then Taylor interjects with his favorite fashion choice for women, and he says sundresses. And he's right. Women do look cute as hell in sundresses. And Maddox likes skanks. Just women who dress like trash. Thanks, Taylor.
Yeah, wrong.
I didn't get any 90s. No 90s reference from him.
Yeah. Well, he said basically everyone's choice was good except for mine. He said my choice is skanky. Go on, because I like to see that butt hanging underneath those short shorts.
It does sound real creepy when you say it like that.
I know.
I'd like to see the butt hanging out of the short shorts.
I just realized.
Awful.
it can't be comfortable, right?
Of course it's comfortable. You're letting them hang, man.
Unless you just you can't sit, if it's hot and you sit down on anything that's like metal or plastic.
Right.
So why
like
don't you give women credit to not sit on hot metal if they're wearing short shorts? Like, I think the chicks are going to be smart enough to not burn their assholes, right? And I'm sure Paul, our guest today, is smart enough not to wear short shorts and sit on hot metal too, because that's your moneymaker, Paul.
Yeah.
If you're gonna wear that clothing, you know what you're wearing. You know what's exposed.
Although,
and
if you did sit on hot metal and you let one rip, I mean, that would be a good one because it would just reverberate off the sound of sizzling hot metal.
Yeah, that's a sizzler. And then speaking of female fashion trends, we got one more voicemail. This guy had very strong opinions about yoga pants. Listen to this.
All right, two things. Number one, I fucking agree with Maddox. Capris are stupid, ugly, and need to fucking go away. Wear shorts or wear pants. Don't wear both. Number two, yoga pants are fucking gross. I know I'm putting myself out there, and I'm taking away one of my own man cards by saying that. It's unappealing. It leaves nothing to the imagination. And for whatever reason, every ugly chick at Walmart needs to wear them. So yoga pants and capris need to go away. This has been the Madman Minnesotan. Fuck Taylor for not liking hockey.
Yeah, okay, I'll agree with that last point, but also, no on the yoga pants. Are you kidding me?
It is weird when guys say, like, it leaves nothing up to the imagination. Yeah. What are you imagining?
Yeah, what exactly are you
like,
imagining?
What is underneath there in your head? Because to me, it's like, probably just legs.
Do you also not like porn and nudity because it leaves nothing to the imagination? Oh, girl, why don't you put some clothes on?
I like when a girl wears a refrigerator box.
Yeah.
Leaves a lot to the imagination. Just leaves their head sticking out.
You know what leaves a lot to the imagination is not having a girlfriend. Imagine her instead. Fucking losers. All right. Anyway, that's it for voicemail.
I wrote a thing on the hockey.
You have a rebuttal for the hockey thing?
Let's be honest. When you're watching hockey, you never really know what's going on. Sure, you think you do, but for the most part, you're never able to see the puck. And then suddenly someone scores out of nowhere. There has to be a cure for this fast-paced chaos, and I believe I have it. play in the dark. This seems crazy on the surface, but the more you think about it...
Leave something to the imagination.
The more you think about it, the more it makes sense. Now, I'm not saying that the NHL should be played in pitch darkness, but just enough to make all the equipment be able to fully glow. So, games would instead be played with uniforms and pucks that lit up, making it far more easy to see where the action was and where it was going.
So you're saying like maybe to have glow-in-the-dark pucks
Yeah.
and goals and jerseys?
Yeah.
And
I think it's a really
blades?
cool...
Oh, I think this might be tight.
I honestly, I can, whatever. I really have trouble seeing the puck when I'm watching hockey.
I'm liking this especially we could do it first as a novelty game. You
This
know,
sounds-
just to see
Where
it.
it goes.
This sounds fun and very dangerous, so I'll give you a ding for that because that's actually a cool idea. However, Taylor, and this is the biggest flaw, and again, why you still don't fucking understand hockey, you're from your home state of Minnesota, but it's the fights, Taylor. You can't have fights.
Sorry, but when the fights happen, the lights come on.
Okay, now we're talking. All
yeah,
right.
I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I wrote a whole blog post how to fix every sport.
Okay, wait. Or what about this? What if we keep all the lights off and before the game we give them an injection to make their blood glow in the dark? So that they start to bleed.
Like Predator.
Yeah, we just see it all drip out.
Or you give the audience heat, like infrared vision, like night vision goggles, so they can see everyone just their heat signature on the rink. That actually sounds pretty fun. Taylor, I'll
Oh
give you
my
that.
God, Paul, new idea. Okay, we get a heat sensitive camera. We put it over your butt so when you fart, we can actually see the heat fart exit.
Well, that's actually a really good idea.
That's a great
then
idea.
if you can
Beat
team
the
up,
faker kids who think it's all fake, that would be a good counterpoint.
that'd be great if you could hook up with like a science channel so we could see what does a fart actually look like.
Yeah, and Paul, I don't think anyone has ever done this, and this is no bullshit. That's a great idea, Ron. If you actually did that and then correlated the heat signature, the visual heat signature of a fart with a different sounding fart, so people could just at a glance...
Oh my God, they could like
wow.
identify the sound.
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's fucking tight.
Because then that way, the TSA could use this, because if they have a fart chart and they're watching the heat signature of people pass through, they know who's passing gas, and they know exactly which one it is. If there are two farters at the same time, they know which person each fart corresponds
We
to.
can monetize this too, where you could have Paul Flart, the fart box, and people can go and they could see what their farts look like, and then you could it'd be like when you go on Magic Mountain at Disneyland, and you know how you get the photo at the end of you on the ride. Well, what if you got a picture of your own fart?
That's fantastic. You could even possibly 3D print these. You can get them.
Okay, we're done. We're done.
We're done.
We're done.
Now we're grabbing. We're grasping.
Well, now it's time for some quick news headlines with our journalist in moderation, Taylor Nikolai. Taylor, what do you got for us?
Christie's New York will make history this fall when it becomes the first auction house to sell a work of art made by artificial intelligence.
Oh, this is bullshit. Fuck that. I'm angry now.
What is it?
The print on canvas, a product of an algorithm developed by the French art collective Obvious, will be included in the auction house's prints and multiples sale October 23rd through 25th.
Yeah, what's this shit? What's this garbage that they're trying to sell?
Is it abstract or landscape or?
So we're gonna describe this for the people listening. It looks like a shitty portrait. That's all. It's just a shitty portrait,
and it's like the algorithm decided to not give the portrait any headroom.
Yeah, it's a guy.
It looks unfinished. First of all,
it's unfinished for sure. It looks like the George Washington portrait that's unfinished, except the proportions are way off, and the guy in the portrait has no neck.
Well,
this is a shit painting. F-.
I'll give you the link, and then you can put it in the description on the YouTube.
Yeah, I'll post it on the YouTube video if you guys are watching on YouTube. But it's a shit painting. I'm not gonna buy that. Paul's not gonna buy that. No one is impressed.
It's only impressed. It's only impressed because of how it was made, not the end result.
What?
Okay, that's interesting that it was made by artificial intelligence, but the end result is still like meh.
It breaks into an interesting philosophical question of what is even art.
Yeah,
because
I feel like that's like that question that we have all the time. You know, like, is this art? Is this considered art? And it's like the same argument with the same answers time and time again.
Is math art?
Yeah.
Can math be art?
And it's one of those things that I'm like,
this is a comedy podcast, everybody.
But it always comes down to the same answer. It's like, yeah, to some people.
Yeah.
Some people think it's art.
Sure.
Some people think it isn't.
You know,
moving on, you know?
I apply the same standard as jokes. Is it funny? right?
To some people?
To some people. But if it gets to the point where people are asking if it's a joke, you failed. If someone has to ask if it's art, if it's not obviously art, you failed. So you shouldn't have to ask if it's a joke. If people can't tell, you're not funny, or you're some, you're like Andy Kaufman-esque pulling something, but very few people are. And then the second thing is the same thing with art. If you make something like a bag of Cheetos is not art; it's just a thing.
So, but if somebody asks you, "Did you fart?" then you could be like, "Well, if you had to ask, I guess it's not a fart."
True.
Paul, I'd love to get your input on this next news item. San Francisco poop patrollers make $185,000 per year.
What?
Wait, what is a poop?
Patrolling poop?
It's but the latest in a string of shocking revelations to hit headlines throughout the summer, exposing how deep San Francisco's crisis of vast amounts of vagrant-generated feces covering its public streets actually runs.
Whoa!
Wow! So there's just a bunch of shitters in San Francisco, and then they pay people $200,000 basically to walk around and patrol the shit.
Yeah, I mean, homelessness is a huge issue in San Francisco, and one of the large consequences of homelessness is feces on the street. I just didn't realize how big of an issue it was, and this was fascinating for me to read.
One thing I noticed when I was traveling over to Amsterdam that I it was kind of gross, but I kind of loved it, was, and this wouldn't help with the feces thing, but they had these like little urinals that you could kind of walk around in. Like, they didn't have doors. You would go around a circle kind of in, and there'd just be like a little hole and you could just piss in it, and they just put them up so they could get people to stop pissing in the canals.
I have a news article about this today.
Oh my god!
Wow.
I fucking loved it. It was they didn't smell that great. I was I was thinking there's got to be better ways of doing this to cut down on the smell, but I love the fact that I didn't need to go into a cafe. I didn't need to do a little thing where I don't want to buy anything, I just need to use the I just love being able to take a piss. Taylor, I know you would love them. You're always taking pisses.
I'm always going to the bathroom.
I just don't understand why we don't have those more, like an updated version of that where they don't stink, but they still felt open, and
we
you
do.
can see people's legs so that...
I kind of want to just slip
get
into
to the story.
Let's get to the story. Yeah.
Tourists visiting Paris's Notre Dame Cathedral and River Siena, am I pronouncing that completely wrong?
River Siena.
Might see more than they came for, as public exposed urinals are now available for use across the city. They're meant as an eco-friendly solution to public peeing. The receptacles look like a planter at first glance, with greenery filling the top. There are no privacy shields for any man using it. And not all of the urinals are tucked away in private places. One actually faces a waterway frequented by tourist boats. Paris has struggled to prevent public or wild peeing for years, even implementing an incivility brigade to enforce fines for unclothed behavior in 2016.
I mean, I feel like there's a way to design this where there's a little bit of privacy, but also not too much so that people would want to camp out in there.
Yeah, the whole point of these public urinals should not be to shame the person doing it, because then they're just going to go pee on anything and everywhere anyway. Which, by the way, when I went to Paris, there is a lot of piss streams in the street. I don't know why, but people in Paris piss fucking everywhere.
Dude, you know what else? They don't put collars on their dogs. I saw so many people walking their dogs with no leash, no collar, and the dog was right there with them.
Well, they're French dogs, so they're going to be a little bit more...
Well, they were wearing
snooty
scarves. So.
Yeah, they're...
That country loves their fucking scarves, man.
That was quick. That was good.
The leashes are scarves. That's funny. Yeah. So I remember one time I was walking in Paris, and I saw someone's Vespa all chained up, right? And it was one of those chains, and Paul, maybe you've seen these too, but they have those chains where they have the fabric around the chain.
Yeah. So it doesn't scratch everything
up. So this chain was on the ground, and I was walking, and I noticed this piss stream that I was trying to avoid, and I was following the piss stream with my eyes, and it landed right at the fabric of the guy's chain. And then I looked at the bike, and it looked like it hadn't been used in a long time, and I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't unlock it either. I'd be like, well, gonna cut my losses, just buy a new motorcycle. Anyway, what else you got, Taylor?
Sony's new and improved AIBO robot dog will go on sale in the U.S. next month. It'll be priced at a whopping $28.99 for the dog, a set of toys, and a cloud plan.
Yeah, what was this, the AIBO, the new dog, right?
The new AIBO is capable of moving and acting like a real dog, thanks to a plethora of actuators and sensors that make its eyes move, tail wag, and more.
If it doesn't lick its own asshole like it gets paid to do it, it's not a real dog.
Correct. And also, Why are we making machines that act like dogs? Why don't we make machines that act better than dogs? Why? Right?
Well, the dog probably the robot dogs don't shit. Although if they did, like if it just shit out little like nuts and bolts every couple of hours.
Batteries.
Yeah. Oh, that's useful.
That's useful.
Rechargeable batteries.
Yeah. Holy shit, man! I'd have that dog shit in my mouth.
Jesus Christ! What? Wow, that just went to someplace I was unexpected.
Paul knows.
I don't, but okay.
Aibo, it launched in Japan earlier this year and sold 20,000 units.
I mean, it just seems like one of those novelty things. Paul, what were you gonna say?
I said that's it. Only 20,000 units in Japan.
Yeah, in Japan of all places, they fucking love robots.
Very high price point. So
When you said $29.95, wait, what was
meaning
the price?
$3,000.
Oh, I
okay.
thought you were saying like $29.95.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Like,
no,
I was
no.
like, that seems
Sorry,
cheap.
I could have said that better.
Yeah.
It's about $3,000. So 20,000 units at $3,000 for a very peculiar type of thing.
Is the dog furry? Like I
no,
don't.
it looks like a robot dog.
Looks like a stupid
So
robot.
what is the benefit of it? Like, so you don't have to walk it. You don't have to like pick up its shit. But what's the benefit of it?
Well, it's a therapy dog, okay? I should be able to take my therapy fucking robo-dog everywhere. Now these fucking robo-dogs are going to be sniffing your crotch and be like, oh, sorry, I didn't program it. I don't know what it's doing,
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, I'm sure the novelty's interesting, but like,
I truthfully think that it's probably made for people in nursing homes who can't have dogs in the nursing homes, but really want to have a compassionapparently item next to them.
Maddox, it's made for people in nursing homes.
I would
well,
assume
you know-
insurance probably covers for it.
Yeah,
well, they
you
can't-
fucking dick.
They apparently can't even have a farting security guard in nursing homes, so why would they have these fucking robo-dogs? Terrifying.
A man has bitten off another man's finger during a fight at a Massachusetts golf course.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
WCVB TV reports a 47-year-old man was arrested at the Southers Marsh Golf Club in Plymouth Friday after he apparently got into a fight with another golfer and bit off a part of his thumb.
See, that's the How to Make a Murder that I want to watch. You know, I want to take that as the inciting incident and then backtrack his life to how he got to the point where he got so riled up that he bit a dude's finger off.
Yeah, at a golf course of all places.
Yeah, which I always view golf as this really a bunch of psychos play golf, though.
Oh, yeah, totally. I was just
like
watching...
controlling, obsessive people.
Yeah, I was at a bar the other night, and golf was on TV because it was a fucking sports bar. That's a thing. And then I was looking at the golfers, and Tiger Woods always looks sad. And every other golfer just looks angry. They always look angry. It's like American Psycho shit. You look at Paul, he's a jolly man. You're not a fucking angry. You're not a golfer.
This guy's happy as
I
hell.
don't play golf. Yeah. Look
Yeah.
at that. Imagine that.
You don't play golf. Correlation? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, the issue I have with golf, because I do golf like once a year with family, is when you're slow a little bit and the people behind you are like, let's pick it up, and it's like, we're here to have a blast, you guys, and you're just making my day worse.
Like, what you want to get through the fun thing that you're doing faster? Like, can't you just learn to enjoy the fucking moment?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but then put yourself in the shoes of the person waiting, and you're behind some slow asshole who's taking all day and is like, oh, I don't know what's going on over here.
Well,
you
that's
wouldn't
the
be annoyed?
sport you chose. Yeah,
Yeah, I
probably.
guess. Yeah.
But it's also like golf is also like such an expensive sport to be a part of that if you're in it, I'm already like, okay, calm it down.
Yeah.
Like there's such a high barrier of entry to get into golf.
There really
you know?
is, yeah.
Yeah.
What else you got, Taylor?
16 nurses get pregnant at Arizona hospital ICU.
Oh, yeah. I heard about this. 16, and they're not just nurses, they were nuns, right? Or they're just nurses.
They were not nuns, they were nurses.
Okay, but they were naughty nurses.
Yeah.
Was that the whole setup? Or did you really think that they were nuns? That's 10% of the nursing staff in the intensive care unit, and patients have started to notice the high pregnancy rate, the nurses said. At a news conference, the women joked that there must be something in the water, or that maybe it was a joint plan for Christmas holidays off. The staff will throw a joint baby shower for all the women next week before they start going on their 12 weeks of maternity leave.
Damn, 12 weeks, that's it?
You get your whole fucking staff, like 10% of your staff leaving from the ICU. And what they go... So when I read this headline, I didn't read the whole story, but I'm like, wow.
Well, but 10% of your staff, so let's say there's like 20 people who work there. 10% of your staff is 2 people. You know?
Yeah, that's...
Well, I mean, how many did they say?
16 nurses.
16 nurses.
Shit, man, they got a big-ass staff there.
Yeah. So 160
ICU?
160 people in this ICU, but they're all getting banged at the same time. This had to have been.
Do you think it's like the same doctor?
That's what I'm thinking, right? It's got to be the same guy. Maybe some.
Well, studies show that World Cup actually increases. Oh, but it's only the winning World Cup.
So it's only the
shoot,
French.
no. Yeah.
So in war, what's the study?
I think I reported it on here. When your country is in the World Cup championship, especially if they win, there's a high pregnancy rate.
Because all these guys are busted.
Yeah.
I get it. Anything else, Taylor?
One last thing.
Do you think French people fuck with scarves on or off? Like, they got to leave them on,
You got to
right?
leave something to the imagination. So yeah, they want to conceal that sweet, sweet neck.
One last news story for the day. A crocodile had a little support while crossing a canal in Key Largo, Florida earlier this month. A yellow pool noodle.
What?
Oh, okay. All right. I'm on board. So, like,
I saw that one. It's pretty legit.
Oh,
know
yeah.
the
Our
story?
guest is from Florida.
Yeah.
The creature was caught on camera resting on the pool noodle as it swam across the water near.
was it also wearing shades? And then it like tipped it down and was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, the pictures of it are kind of really funny because it's like got a yellow pool noodle. It's like, what are you doing?
Man, I wasn't around. I'd be out there with a high-powered rifle. Just it's great. What the fuck, man?
I'll tell you what, it is one of the craziest things about being in Florida.
Because that's a fucking lazy
Somewhere
crocodile.
else.
That's a lazy crocodile. You want to take him out of the system. You don't want that fucker breeding.
That's the crocodile. You talk about, like, extinct animals. There's a guy who is adapting to his present circumstances and human development. Like, this is what you give me? All right, I'll work with this. That is the smartest one out there.
High-powered rifle.
That crocodile's probably going to be like one of your Uber drivers one of these days.
That's what I'm afraid of. He's going to take. Oh, so you're making my point for me, Ron. He's going to get into the workforce and take jobs away from us.
Maybe,
Take him
if
out.
we can't hold our own against crocodiles, maybe we need to thin the herd a little bit,
They're adapting. They're overcoming.
Have you ever? That's the problem. They're adapting. Have you ever found one in your on your home, in your premises, anything like that?
So I got a story from before I moved down here from my parents.
Yeah.
Like they were about to go out somewhere, open the garage door, and then went back inside to like get something or do something. And as they're leaving the house to go into the garage, 6-foot gator just sitting right there by the door.
Wow.
And obviously everybody just starts freaking out, flipping out, and they had to call animal control, and everybody just kind of stayed inside until animal control came and got the gator out. But to have it like a 6-foot gator in your garage is like.
Well, yeah,
Man.
the Ron Babcocks of the world be like, well, he's adapting to it, so he's just moving
because
into houses.
It picks up the fucking weed whacker. He goes like, I got it. And then he starts doing your yard work.
You know,
More taking jobs. Yeah.
Did you know when like animal control comes out, they kill the alligator?
Did
Like,
they really?
they don't like set it out in the wild. Like
Great
I'm
solution,
pretty sure
guys. Yeah.
that they just kill them, and like that's a bummer.
I mean,
Yeah,
if
that's
you
why they're always wearing alligator boots.
they're dying.
Those guys look funny. Those guys are all like dressed in like coonskin caps and fur,
Yeah, these animal
snakeskin wallets.
fur jackets.
What do you guys got? You got leather vests and stuff.
Well, thank you, Taylor, for those quick news headlines. And before we wrap up the show, Taylor, you've got an announcement to make.
Yes, regrettably, sadly a word?
It is.
Sadly,
It is now.
next week will be my last episode on this podcast.
That's right. It will be, and it's with a heavy heart that we say this, but we wish you well, Taylor, but it's actually for a good reason, so I don't know that
I
it's
was
sad.
drafted into the pickleball league.
Okay.
Holy shit! What?
No.
I've got some big projects that are coming up that are going to take a lot of my time, and I
Very
like
exciting project.
this is the thing I look forward to all week. This is so much fun doing this here. But it's not just one project; it's several different projects, and it's in the next couple weeks. And I'm gonna have a lot on my plate, and yeah, I'm really gonna miss talking about pickleball on here. I'm gonna miss talking about Minnesota on here. I am so gracious and flattered that you guys have been so kind to me, especially when I first came on here. Like the whole gig was I was going to just talk about your penis every episode, and we kind of moved away from that a little bit, and. Yeah, no, you guys, you don't hate me as much as I thought you would hate me.
Yay, there you go. That's
And in your honor, when you're gone, I'm going to speak in a high voice.
Well, that's okay. I'm sure Taylor will keep calling in every week because he called in last week.
I mean, Taylor's always going to call in.
He's always calling in. Yeah. Well, Taylor, we wish you the best of luck, and you can't announce it yet, but it's a new gig you got coming up, which is fantastic, and we're super proud of you.
Very exciting.
When we can announce it, maybe we'll talk about that down the line. But we wish you well, Taylor, and we thank you for all the journalism in moderation that you've been doing. Well, before we wrap things up, Paul, where can people find you?
Instagram @PaulFlart, Facebook.com/PaulFlart. Paul Flart on YouTube. We're doing that too. Yeah. We got a GoFundMe if you guys want to support. If anybody out there wants to support, continuing.
If you're not doing compilation videos on YouTube yet, you should, because someone's going to do it, and you want to be the one who's actually making the money from it.
Yeah, it should be your channel.
Sure, 100%.
Yeah, and Paul, we should mention you just mentioned. And we should plug your GoFundMe as well. I know that we haven't mentioned it earlier in the episode, but if you guys want to support Paul, he is, again, the forefront of the civil rights movement.
Oh gosh.
For fart shaming. We shouldn't be ashamed of our farts. We should be proud of them. And Paul's a man who has sacrificed a lot for a fart.
I mean, there could be competitions for who has the loudest fart, the longest fart. You know.
We're doing another fart competition. We did one back a few months ago on the Instagram. We did a fart competition. He's on the page. Everybody loves him. His followers upticked a lot too, but obviously nowhere near the same. But we're gonna do another one here pretty soon. We're about to hit 70,000 followers, I think.
What is your Go Flart Me again?
We're somewhere in that ballpark. So we'll have another fart contest soon.
Yeah, what's your Go Fart Me?
It's GoFundMe.com/PaulFlart.
All right.
/Paul Flart. Okay, we'll link to it, guys. Please check out Paul Flart. Look at it. He's blowing up everywhere. He's on the news. You're going to see more of him in coming days. And you can't even announce the TV show you're coming on soon. But
no, not at all. I can't announce it, but I'll let you guys know as soon as I'm given permission to let everybody know. I'll let you guys know.
Absolutely. And Ron Babcock is @HeyRon on
Instagram and @Ron Babcock on Twitter.
And Taylor Nikolai is @Taylor Nikolai. We wish Taylor the best. We wish me the best as well. But I mean, why not? Thank you again, Paul Flart, for joining us on the show.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you to the Rear Admiral of Tangents, Ron Babcock.
Yes.
Thank you to the journalist in moderation, Taylor Nikolai.
Hi.
But most of all, you're welcome.
Hey, look, Maddox, it's me. You know what? You're right. Skinny jeans may not look good on you, but they look really good off of you. Fuck whales.
Wait, what?
Hey there. Don't forget to subscribe to Madcast shows on iTunes, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app. Okay, bye. Madcast Media Network.